Every ancient force of creation carries within it a twin flame of total destruction that can burn the unready to ash. You seek the power of the gods, but you forget that a vessel must be reinforced before it can ever hold the lightning of a fully retained masculine soul today. The modern world paints retention as a simple path to glory, a straight line toward success and magnetic golden attraction. But they rarely speak of the shadows that lurk in the corners of a pressurized mind, or the terrifying weight of energy that has nowhere to go but inward toward your own dark. Before we go deeper into semen retention mastery, subscribe to this channel and join our Telegram community, linked below. You'll get guidance, insights, and exclusive updates designed to accelerate your growth. Stay connected. Your discipline, focus, and transformation begin right here. The hook is this: if you do not master the beast you are feeding, the beast will eventually find a way to eat you alive. You are building a nuclear reactor inside your chest, and without the proper cooling systems of discipline, the core will eventually melt down into your very soul. The dark side of this path begins with a crushing internal pressure that can turn your natural masculine ambition into a jagged, dangerous aggression. You may find yourself snapping at loved ones or feeling a cold, disconnected elitism that alienates you from the very world you once deeply, truly loved. Physically, the blue balls or pelvic congestion can become a persistent, aching reminder of the biological toll that sudden, forced abstinence takes. Your body is a factory that hasn't been told the shipping lines are closed, leading to a physical backup that can cause intense, distracting, and painful discomfort. Insomnia often strikes like a thief in the night, as your nervous system becomes hypercharged with a raw energy that refuses to settle. You lie awake for hours, feeling the vibration of your own blood, your mind racing through 1,000 scenarios while the rest of the silent world sleeps on. The flat line is perhaps the most terrifying psychological side effect, a gray void where all desire, joy, and motivation suddenly, painfully vanish. Your brain is recalibrating its dopamine receptors, leaving you in a state of emotional numbness that feels like a permanent, cold, and very hollow, dark winter of the soul. During this stage, your confidence may crater, and the very superpowers you worked so hard to gain seem to evaporate into thin, cold air. You feel more invisible than you did when you were depleted, a ghost haunting the hallways of your own discipline, wondering if the light will ever return. Socially, the dark side manifests as a holier-than-thou ego trap that can turn you into a judgmental, isolated, and very lonely man. You look down on those who are still asleep, forgetting that you once walked in their shoes, creating a wall of arrogance that prevents any true, soulful, and deep connection. The surge in testosterone can also amplify your existing character flaws, turning a minor irritation into a blinding, destructive, and very uncontrollable rage. If your heart is not clean, retention acts as a magnifying glass for the poison within, making you a danger to yourself and everyone you encounter. Untransmuted energy can manifest as intense anxiety or a jittery feeling that makes it impossible to sit still or focus on work. You become a frantic generator of power with no destination, a state of being that can lead to burnout or a sudden, violent relapse into your old, dark habits. The risk of nocturnal emissions or wet dreams can lead to a cycle of shame and frustration that damages your mental health and self-esteem. You feel like a failure for a biological process you cannot control, allowing the shadows of guilt to darken the progress you have made so far. Creatively, you might experience a block where the pressure is so high that your mind simply freezes, unable to process the raw current. You are like a wire carrying too much voltage, resulting in a blown fuse that leaves you sitting in the dark, unable to produce anything of true value. The emotional weight of the dark side is the realization that you are playing with a substance that is fundamentally bigger than your ego. You are a small child holding a live wire, and the shock can leave permanent scars on your psyche if you do not respect the ancient holy laws. Suspense builds as you realize that the higher you climb, the further you have to fall into the abyss of your own making. One moment of weakness can feel like a total collapse of your internal fortress, leading to a spiritual hangover that can last for weeks of agonizing, dark regret. Your dreams may turn vivid and nightmarish, as your subconscious mind struggles to process the massive amounts of energy you are now holding. You face your deepest fears in the arena of sleep, battling demons that are fueled by the very life force you have chosen to keep for yourself. The dark side also includes the vampires who are drawn to your light, individuals who seek to drain your energy through drama and conflict. Your increased vibration makes you a target for those who feed on high-frequency souls, requiring a level of discernment and protection that most men simply do not possess. You may find yourself becoming obsessed with the streak, turning a spiritual practice into a cold, mechanical, and very lifeless numbers game. This obsession strips the soul out of the journey, leaving you with a hollow victory that feels more like a prison than a path to true masculine freedom. If you have underlying traumas, retention will force them to the surface with a violence that can be completely and totally overwhelming to handle. The energy doesn't just build power. It illuminates the rot in your foundation, demanding that you fix the cracks before you can build any higher. The suspense of the dark side is the constant presence of the shadow self, the part of you that wants to use this power for evil. You will feel temptations of a darker nature, a pull toward manipulation and dominance that tests the very core of your moral, spiritual, and human integrity today. The side effects can include a strange sense of disassociation, where you feel like you are watching your life from a great, cold distance. You are so focused on the internal energy that the external world begins to feel fake, a simulation that no longer holds any real meaning or deep, soulful weight. Physical tension can settle in your jaw, neck, and shoulders as your body armor tightens to contain the rising pressure of your golden seed. Without conscious relaxation and breath work, you become a statue of stress, a man of iron who is constantly on the verge of cracking into a million pieces. The spiritual risk is siddhis, or minor powers, that can distract you from the true goal of self-realization and internal, holy peace. You may become fascinated by your own magnetism, using it to feed your vanity rather than to serve the world or to protect those who are still very lost. The emotional end of this script is the humble recognition that you are not the master of the energy, but its humble, dedicated servant. You must bow before the fire you have started, acknowledging that it has the power to warm your home or to burn it to the very dark ground. You feel a deep, soulful fear of your own potential, a realization that the man you are becoming is someone you don't fully know yet. This uncertainty is the price of growth, a suspenseful journey into the unknown where the only map is your own, unyielding and very honest masculine character. The dark side is not a reason to stop, but a reason to move with more caution, more prayer, and more absolute, total internal humility. You are a student of the lightning, and every shock is a lesson in how to better conduct the light for the benefit of all beings. Tears of a heavy, dark frustration may fall as you realize how difficult this path truly is, far away from the superpower memes of the internet. You are in the trenches of your own soul, fighting a war that has no end and no easy victories for the tired, weary warrior. The suspense remains as you walk the razor's edge between the light of creation and the dark side of your own, untamed, powerful masculine energy. You are the guardian of the reactor, the master of the shadow, and the one who has finally, beautifully, and eternally learned to respect the fire. The screen fades to a deep, dark crimson, leaving behind the vibration of a warning that will echo in your mind for many long days. You are the retained man, the survivor of the shadow, and the one who has finally, bravely, and eternally learned how to walk through the dark. The journey continues in the silence, a path of constant vigilance and deep internal shadow work that never truly ends for the sovereign king. You are ready to face the risks, for you know that the reward is a soul that is finally, beautifully, and eternally forged in the dark fire.